I'm Akeya Brown, and I'll be teaching you about the distributive property. The distributive property is a property that combines addition or subtraction with multiplication. And the way you find the answer to these problems is when you multiply each number inside the parentheses by the number outside of the parentheses. And as I will be teaching you today how to solve these problems using example problems. So let's start off with this problem. -5 outside of the parentheses with 20 minus 9 inside of the parentheses. As you can see, I started here with the original problem. Now, as we go along, you'll see that I broke down the problem. 5 minus 20, 5 times 20 minus 5 minus 9, 100 minus 45. Then I get the answer of 55. And you find that by simply breaking it down. So here, I apply the distributive property. Here, I use multiplication, and here I simplify it. And then I got the answer to solve the problem. Now, those are your three steps. Apply the distributive property, multiply, and simplify. Now, on to the next problem. Here's your next problem. 6 outside of the parentheses with 9 plus 2 inside of the parentheses. And as you can see here, I applied the multiplication, and then I actually multiplied, and I applied it, which is 54 plus 12. And then I got the answer of 66. And you have to remember that you apply the distributive property, which gets me to 6 times 9 plus 6 times 2. And then you multiply the distributive property, which gets me here to 54 plus 12. And you simplify, which gets me to 66. And the answer to this problem is 66. Now let's move along where me and you can both try it this time. So since you know the basics, let's try a problem that's a little harder. We're going to throw a variable in there. So 3 outside of parentheses with 30 plus a inside of parentheses. And as you can see here, I applied the distributive property, and I got 3 times 30 plus 3a. To simplify this, you don't know what a is, so you have to basically just simplify. You can't actually solve it. So 90 plus 3a, and that's my answer for that problem. Now, let's try with the negative to get you some practice. Now, as you can see here, -5 is outside of the parentheses, while b minus 7 is inside. To simplify this, you simply do -5 plus b plus -5 times 7. But you have to apply LCO, which means leave change opposite. And that means that you change the subtraction sign into an addition sign, and you change -5 into +5. And you'll get -5b plus 35. And that's the answer to 4. So you have to remember to apply all these steps, which are apply the distributive property by breaking down the problem. As you can see in these problems, like this is applied. And then you have to also remember to multiply. You actually have to solve it. So 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 2 is 12. And as you can see, you get the answer of 66. And that is how you simplify if needed. You also have to pay attention to the signs in each problem, because not all the signs are the same. This here shows addition, as this one here shows subtraction. When working with a variable, you have to be sure that not to completely solve the problem, because you don't know what the solution for the variable is. So as you can see, it's simplified to the simplest form, which is 90 plus 3a and -5 plus 35. Here you can see how to work with the distributive property. Make sure to fill in your notes with the distributive property and what it means and the steps that you have to take, and you can try the problems yourself. So next time you need to work with problems that call for the distributive property, remember this video where you've learned all the steps. You've learned to apply distributive property, multiply, and simplify. All these things will get you in a long way with the distributive property. I hope you enjoyed my lesson. And remember, are important. Make sure to notify that they're there because you can't solve for them. Also, remember to watch for the signs. Remember all your steps and remember everything that you need to do. Now, go home. Remember to try these problems before you leave. Try this. Write 7 and then parenthesis 5 minus b. So that'd be 7 outside of the parentheses with 5 minus b inside. Also try this problem. 8 with 11 plus 5. Put 8 outside of the parentheses with 11 plus 5 inside of the parentheses. Thank you. Bye. Hope you enjoy.